Okay, so more hometown stories are coming in. This one is from Laura, who is the relative of a woman. My first job, my first boss. My first boss was Murda Fair Craig. And this is a story from them, who have a history of telling great stories, by the way. So Laura's grandmother, my first boss, Murda Fair Craig, I think it's her and not the great grandmother. I think it's Murda Fair because she drove also a long station wagon. So Murda Fair Craig was crossing the railroad tracks, and on the other side of the tracks there was a red light on Texas Street, and the cars were backed up just enough that her station wagon couldn't fit in behind them. And so the back end of the station wagon was still on the train tracks. More train stories, right? So this train was coming and it hits the back of her car. It plows into the back of her station wagon, takes it off, and Murda Fair was fine. Fine. She was fine. Everybody was checking on her. No, she's okay. She just lost her station wagon, her newsmobile, to the train. That train is dangerous. I think now they have those things that come down. Wouldn't stop us. We used to put pennies on the tracks. Also against the law. That's dangerous. Don't do it. Oh, but that reminds me, because I was working for Murda Fair Craig. My parents didn't want me to work for her as young as 14, but I wanted to. So I went, and she would let us come in after school to write the school news. And so she would leave at 5 or 6 o'clock, and we had just come in at 4. So we were allowed to stay, finish our layups, and clock out, turn off the lights, and lock up everything. The game with Murda Fair was she would stay and she would type her stories so intently and have a cigarette poking out of her lips. And the game was, would the ash get all the way to the filter before it fell off into her typewriter keys? It was my job to clean the typewriter keys at night. And more often than not, she could do it. So one of the cute guys that worked there's always a cute guys that worked there, showed us a trick after she left after hours, which was that if you take the rubber cement that we would tape our layouts of our stories up for her to send it to press the next day, if you take that and paint the top of the desk in designs with rubber cement, you could then light it on fire and have a little party with that. Mr. Fricke never was called to the newspaper to put out a fire. It was just little fires. But we did that in her office.